3D Moana Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to show you the first of a little series that I have going that I don't know for sure how many of them I will do and how long it'll go on because I'm not doing like all in a row, but I'm doing a Disney princess or a Disney character little series, and they're all going to be 2 nails together, and I have a kind of an idea of what I'm going to do with them in the end. So they're going to be, the first one is going to be the princess or character. Not all of them are princesses, but for the most part it's going to be the princess on one nail, and then like a little piece of her dress design or her fabric or something that goes with her. So that's the little 2 nail part that I have. So this first one is going to be for Moana. I hope you guys like this design as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe so you don't miss any of my future princess videos as well.
So to begin with, for the Moana nail, I'm going to start with a shimmery white acrylic background. So this one, the white is kind of, I don't know, it's like a jelly acrylic as far as texture goes or appearance goes, and it's got little chunks of glitter in it. So it's a great background color. Then encase that with a layer of clear acrylic. And then I'm going to file it into shape with my e-file, starting out with a pretty coarse bit to remove any bulk. And then after I have that and it's nice and shapely, I'm going to kind of buff it with a very smooth bit. So this is great. You can also just use a buffer block if that is your preference. But now with a medium brown acrylic, I'm going to start sculpting Moana's head, neck, arms, and body. So basically all of her skin. And even like her torso, I just sculpted her entire torso, and then I added her shirt later, so I wasn't trying to avoid that area, and like I'm sculpting her head under where her hair is. So just do all, basically just her shape underneath that extra stuff. So there's her head, and Moana is a very strong character, and she's a much more realistic character than older cartoons like Ariel and Cinderella, where their necks are very, very thin and almost unnaturally thin, I guess, and same thing with their bodies. Moana isn't like that. She looks very strong. She looks healthy, for that matter. So don't necessarily make her too terribly thin, and don't make her neck so long and skinny either. It's, you know, it's healthy. It looks a lot more human. So then I'm adding her, like I said, her torso and her arms. Just like that. And for all these characters, I'm planning on doing like, I don't know, rib cage and up, I guess you could say. So then I'm just going to add a little bit more to her chest. Kind of fill her out some. Like I said, do all that stuff underneath her clothes. That's going to give it such a much better appearance, and it's not going to be weird and gappy at all. Add a little bit more over her face to kind of round that out and make her head look like it is, like her face is prominent on the nail, like that's the important thing, which, you know, it is, you know, her face. So then I'm just going to add just a little bit more. So she has a nice strong cheekbone, so I'm adding a little bit more acrylic just right in that area to kind of bump that out some. A little bit more on her chin, just kind of fill it out at her nose in there. And depending on how much you want to do, you don't have to add so much detail with acrylic as far as like facial features goes, or you could add more. Like you could do her eyes and her eyebrows and all of that with acrylic if you like. I kind of like to do a mix of acrylic detail with paint detail just to sort of balance it out, but it's whatever your style is. But then I'm going to take a peach color acrylic and I'm going to add her shirt. Just like so, right across like that. Add a little bit more acrylic to her forehead. But then with black acrylic, I'm going to start adding her hair. So with fairly thin acrylic, you're going to want to begin sort of just filling in around her head and her shoulders and her neck. She has very long hair, and it kind of flows out around her. So you need to just sort of push it in, almost like you're doing a reverse French. So you just think of her body and the rest of her as the nail bed, and now you're filling in the tips. So just kind of gently push it in around all of those shapes, trying not to cover them up because her hair is behind her. Just fill those in. And if her hair doesn't turn out to be completely smooth as far as texture goes, you don't pat your acrylic down completely, that actually works out. Her hair has a really nice curly wavy texture to it. So if the acrylic is a little bit rough and bumpy, that actually just adds to it. And add her hair that's over her face a little bit and pull that up over the back of her head, just like so. Kind of fill out the hairline any way you need to. And then with black paint, I'm going to start adding some outlines and some details, starting out with sort of roughing up the outside edge of her hair. So her hair is, like I said, it's kind of curly and a little bit, you know, wavy and wild, I guess you could say. And it doesn't necessarily lay smooth. So add some little wisps of hair coming off of the edges. And then I'm going to highlight her face and her skin with some diluted, it's kind of like a sandy color. The original color of acrylic that I was using was a bit too red. I tried to mix my own because I have either like really, really dark browns, like deep chocolates, or I have cover pink. So I was mixing some acrylic trying to find the right color here, and I don't think I was very successful. I need to add some green, but the more acrylic I added, the weirder it got. So I just decided I'd fix it with paint later, which is what I did, and it worked out perfectly fine. But then I'm going to take and go back through with my black, and I'm going to add her outlines around like her shoulders and her chin and all of those areas. And if you need to, you could dilute your black so that it's not quite so thick to work with, and you can get an easier job of working with your lines. However, if you dilute your paint, what happened to me could happen to you, where my black all of a sudden decided to run all over the place, and then you have to go back and fix it. But that is optional. And then with a burgundy color, I added her lips. Just like so. And then you're going to need to fill in her eyes with some white. But I also added a little bit more highlights with that sandy color. Like I said, she has very prominent cheekbones, so you definitely want to highlight those to really bring them out. And I know at this point she looks a little bit skeleton-like, but once she has eyes, that will all be fixed. Then add her eyebrows with black. And then we're going to fill in her eyes with white. Just like that. And then she's got brown pupil, or brown irises, and then you're going to add her black pupil. So there you go. Just kind of add and touch up and fix anything you need to. You can always use paint to, if you needed to, you could paint over her entire face. That's the thing with me when I paint character faces. I'm always like, oh, am I going to mess this thing up? Because I'm not nearly as confident with painting faces as I am with other things. So I always am like a little bit, how is this going to go? But you can always start over. So that's a reassuring little thing to keep in mind, is that if it's not perfect, it doesn't need to be, and you can always fix it later. So then with burgundy, I'm going to go through and add the little details on her dress to start with. Then I'll take some white and add like the little seashells that are going down the side, or I guess across the front, not down the side, but add those with little dabs of white. Then add some more burgundy beneath that, just like that. Fill in her eyes any more that you need to, add the pupils. And then one thing is, Moana has a very specific special detail that you cannot forget, is to add her necklace. So I'm going to take some teal paint, and I'm going to be adding her little necklace. So first I added little highlights in her eyes with white, but then paint that necklace with teal, just like that. And then apply some gel sealer over the background and some matte top coat over Moana, and you're all done. So then for her accent nail, I'm going to begin with an overlay of a peach acrylic. And after I have that in place, then I'm going to encase it with a layer of clear acrylic over the whole thing to make sure that it will be nice and strong. And then I'm going to go through and I will be filing it into shape with my e-file, starting out with a fairly coarse bit, just like I did with the Moana nail, just kind of going over that, making sure that I thin out any areas that may have gotten a little bit on the thicker side, and then going through with that little buffer bit I have and finish filing it just like so. And then with the burgundy paint that I used on the Moana nail, I'm going to go through and paint the little pattern that's going right across the top of her shirt. So I'm going to start out with 2 parallel lines going straight down the nail, just like that, and then on both of them I'm going to add little triangles facing each other, so facing in, so not facing out but facing in, just a little zigzag triangle line going down, just like so. It's really easy since they're so small. You can basically just do a zigzag and the paint will fill in itself. Just go down the line just like that, and you can do any of the patterns from her dress or for her skirt or her shirt or whatever. You could also do her little necklace. You could do whatever you like. There's so many options here because she's got so many amazing patterns that there's a lot of different cool things that you could do. So then within those 2 lines, you're going to go back and forth between just a line of little zigzags and then a starburst pattern. So for the starburst pattern, make 4 lines on all north, south, east, west, and then go through and fill in northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. Apply a layer of gel sealer and you're all done. I hope you guys like this design as much as I do. Like I said, I've got several other princesses on the lineup and I'm really excited to do them, so I hope you guys are excited too. Please share recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!